Hey guys, today we're going over every single hot and modifier key in The Sims 4. Create a Sim doesn't have a ton, so I'm going to run through these real quick, kind of give you an idea of the direction of this video, and then I'll answer some questions you'll probably have. Probably the most handy one is Next Sim. To just move to the next sim quickly, all you have to do is press the spacebar on your keyboard. If I zoom in down to the corner, you can see how I'm flipping through in order. You can also zoom in and out using your scroll wheel, which sort of sets in immediately, or by using the plus and minus keys, either in your number bar at the top of your keyboard or at the number pad. You can also use Z and X, which work the same as the plus and minus keys. To rotate your sim, you can use the comma and period keys. These keys on my keyboard setup are also the less than and greater than keys, which I believe is the case for all standard English QWERTY keyboards, which kind of look like arrows, easy to remember. Or if you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, you can press the scroll wheel and then move your mouse side to side to rotate the sim. You can also hold Control, and while holding Control, press A and D. Those rotate and zoom commands are pretty much the same throughout the game. Other handy commands include to screenshot, you can press C. It'll go ahead and show you the file path right up here. To reset UI scaling, press Ctrl U. To open and close the gallery, press F4. If you need to exit the game, especially if it's not loading or saving properly, you can press Alt F4. Now in Create a Sim, you cannot save when you do this key combo. If you ever need to save your sims and come back to them later, you can just save them to your library by going to Save Household and then saving the household to your library. Not a hotkey, just a hot tip. You probably noticed that some of those were missing information, and here's why. This is pretty much an ongoing project. You know as well as I do, it's nearly impossible to find a comprehensive list of all of the Sims 4 hotkeys and modifiers, so I'm actually trying to build up a spreadsheet with not only the PC, Mac, PS, and Xbox, but also any other keyboard combinations. Right now we also, for example, have the Nordic Mac keyboard set up, but that's a lot of information. So if you are able to fill in any of these gaps, please let me know either in the comments below or jump over to the Discord and grab the nerd role to get access to the spreadsheet if you're really dedicated to building up the most comprehensive and accurate list of hot and modifier keys in The Sims 4. Now that you know what's up with all of these cards, let's go ahead and move on. I would like to run through all of the camera controls next. So my favorite camera, which I was just in for all of those clips that you saw, is the free camera. You can enter the free camera by clicking up here, this free camera button, or you can get in and out by pressing tab. Once you're in free camera, to move around, press W, S, A, and D to move the camera forward, backward, left, and right. And if you're prone to motion sickness, I recommend just listening to the camera controls because it's going to get a little bit choppy here in a minute. Next up, to actually move your screen around and decide where you're pointing, basically, you just move your mouse. Now if you click, you'll show your cursor. You can't really interact with the world, it's just showing cursor to select UI or to move your mouse off the screen if you're in windowed mode, stuff like that. To move your camera direction again though, just click so that your mouse is hidden, and then you can change where you're looking again. Now to raise the camera, press E for elevate. Q will bring it back down. I don't have any quips for that. And to zoom in and out, you can use your scroll wheel, your plus and minus keys, your Z and X keys. Now to enter and exit the Sim POV camera is Shift Tab. You can also Shift Tab and then Escape. Escape, just as a general rule, will get you out of whatever you're stuck in, so if you're not sure what to do, hit Escape. Anyway, to change which sim you're using, press the left and right arrow keys. To interact with the world, all you have to do is click. You can see that when I move my mouse, it moves the position that the camera is facing, and different objects are highlighted. This means you can actually interact with them, so we could walk over there and sit. However, to actually walk, you can either click directly on the ground or right-click on the ground, which will just give you the Go Here option. If you'd like to show or hide the UI, you can press Tab. If at any point you need to see your cursor, again, you can hold Shift. You do have to hold Shift the whole time. If your view goes too far to one direction and you want to snap the view back to your sim, just press Control. And just like everywhere else, if you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can use the scroll wheel, the plus and minus keys, or Z and X.
Aha! Hibine, Happyam, Evanage.
I'm going to head outside the home to show you the last two camera settings, which are the Sims 3 camera and the Sims 4 camera. With the Sims 3 camera, to move forwards, backwards, left, and right, it's once again W, S, A, and D. You can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard, or you can hold the right mouse button, which sort of gives you this little camera direction logo, and then you can move around with that. To rotate the camera, you can use the comma and period or less than and greater than keys, or press the scroll wheel and you'll get this little camera rotating thing and you can turn side to side. You can also hold Control and use A and D. To tilt the camera, you can hold Control and use W and S. You can also press the scroll wheel to move up and down. Now to snap your camera to any position, you can right click on the ground and you'll zoom right over there. And most of these controls will be the same in the Sims 4 camera, but there are a few key differences. So to switch over to Sims 4 camera, I'm just going to switch over right here. You can see already the angle has changed. So for Sims 4 camera, just like with Sims 3, it's W, S, A, and D, or up, down, left, right to move it around. Or instead of pressing the right mouse button and moving the mouse around, you're actually going to click the ground and drag it. So click and drag, click and drag. The right mouse button does the turning instead here. Or rotating, I guess I should say, to be consistent with the cards A. So anyway, to rotate the screen, you can hold your right mouse button and move the mouse side to side, or you can use that comma and period less than greater than key set, or Control A and Control D. We can also zoom as usual with the scroll wheel, the plus and minus keys, or the Z and X. Of course, we do need to go over the live mode commands. You guys are having a conversation in the bathroom. How totally normal. First set of commands that we're going to look at are these panels down here. Now these will actually show you when you hover over them what the hotkey is. For example, the aspirations panel is G. The jobs panel or career panel is J. Skills is L. Relationships is R. Inventory is I. Simology is Y. Needs is O. Social groups is U, and owned businesses is B. Now by default on PC, if you click these or open them with a hotkey, they just stay open. However, if you do need to pin them open and you are on PlayStation or Xbox, here are the commands for you. To toggle pause on and off, you're going to go with 0 or the tilde key. The 0 works on both your number bar and your number pad. The fastest speed, which is 3. Medium speed is 2. Normal speed is 1. To take a screenshot, you can press C, and to record a video, press V. When you are recording, you will get that yellow border on your screen. To stop the video recording, just press V again, and it will save following this file path here. Or you can find it saved using this file path. That's a better way to put that. Now, if at any point you find yourself way off your lot and you're kind of lost, you can press Shift and Enter to center back on your active lot. To center on your active sim, just press Enter. You can also use the N key. To follow a sim, you can right-click on their portrait. This little camera icon here means that you are now following that sim, so your camera will automatically track that sim. To switch between sims, you can press the space bar, which will rotate through your sims. Now to open up your cheat bar, that'll be Control-Shift-C. You can then type in whatever cheat, such as testing cheats on. If you'd like a video with all of those cheats, let me know. It was just too much to do the cheats and the hotkeys all in one video. Now that that cheat is enabled though, we can actually shift click on any item or sim to get the debug menu, reset our object, cheat sim info, cheat need, yada yada yada. Sims obviously have that menu, but other items may have the menu as well, such as fireplaces, sinks, counters, chairs. I don't know why that chair is there. It doesn't look like it belongs. Now to clear the notifications window on console, these are your commands. As far as I know, there's not a command for that in the PC, aside from just clicking delete all. So if you know the answer to that one, let me know in the comments down below. If at any time you need to exit the game, Alt F4 will bring you to this little option here. You can save and exit game, or cancel. If you just want to escape that, press escape. This can be really helpful if your game is freezing, not loading properly, and so on. However, if you do just want the other menu, press escape. It'll pop right up. Escape to close it again. To open and close the gallery is still F4. To navigate your home, going up floors and down floors is page up and page down. To set your walls up or down, it's home and end. Home will bring them up, and we'll put them down. To go into Manage Worlds, you can press F5. You can choose to save or just go to Manage Worlds or cancel, or again, press Escape. And finally, to travel quickly with the whole household, press M. This will bring you to Manage Worlds with the whole household selected. Even if the Sims are at work or at a different lot, the whole household will be gathered together to travel. Sometimes Sims get bugged out and don't behave properly and you need to get them off the lot, but it's behaving weird. This is a good key for that. And you can press M again to exit back out of that and go right back back to where you were. To go into build mode from live mode, press F2, and then to go back into live mode, press F1. Now F1 actually brings you out of build mode into whatever you were in before, whether that's live mode or manage worlds. Now build mode has a lot, so I am just going to go through pretty much in alphabetical order here according to my little sheet. First thing is catalog resume, which means whatever I'm in down here in my objects by function catalog, if I leave to go place a door and I have to get back to that part of my catalog, all I have to do is press F2, bam, there we go. Now if you want to delete an item that you have selected, you can press delete. You can also press backspace, which will put it into your household inventory. I said you can also press backspace, which will put it into your household inventory. There we go. I guess windows don't go to household inventory. Interesting. Learn something new every day. To grab the design tool or the recolor tool, press R on your keyboard. That will let you recolor objects that you have already placed. To duplicate a selected item, you can press shift. While holding shift, click to place that first item, and then it'll let you place other items as well. Now that's not super helpful for windows because they automatically place multiple, but it's super helpful for columns. So if I take this column here and I copy it, it's only going to place one at a time. But if I copy it and hold shift, I can actually place multiple. So handy. I already touched on this, but to go back to either live mode or manage worlds, press F1. I hit F1 instead of escape all the time, which is super annoying. Also, you notice I myself don't use most of these hotkeys just because there are so many. It's too many, in my humble opinion, to remember. But some of them I will use, like changing the lighting just there was by using the L key. Same as always, to exit the game, Alt F4, you do get the option to save here. To grab the eyedropper tool, press E. Next up is floor and ceiling. So floors by tile, floors by room, ceilings by tile, ceilings by room. These all pretty much follow the exact same rules. So I'm just going to go through the floors by tile, and you can translate it to ceilings by tile if you feel the need. For starters, if you're placing floors by tile and you actually want to cover a whole room, press Shift. If you have a few tiles that you've strategically placed and you decide you actually want those to be a different texture, if you hold shift, you will not fill in the entire space. You will just fill in the matching tiles, if that makes sense. So you can see here, if I hold shift, I'm only filling in the tiles that already match texture-wise, and that will work for all of them. But if you end up filling everything the same, those tiles disappear and you're back to filling the whole floor again. To place a quarter floor tile, press Ctrl F. This will let you place little triangles, which means you can do fun designs. And again, if you decide you actually want that to be a different color, just hold shift to fill all of those squares or tiles or quarter tiles in with that alternative color. To get back out of the quarter tile placement, just press Ctrl F. And to rotate your floor direction, you can use the comma and period keys or less than and greater than keys. Next up, if you're trying to place something and you want to ignore the grid, you can hold Alt, which will let you move it more smoothly. It's important to note that this is only possible with the Sims 3 camera. You cannot do this with the Sims 4 camera. This will also let you rotate ignoring the grid. So if I rotate while holding Alt, it's nice and smooth. If I release Alt, then it's going to snap to the grid and have snap to rotations as well. Freezes and floor trims work the exact same. To place it on a whole room by default, just click and place. But if you just want to place it on one wall section at a time, hold shift. This also works to remove all of it at the same time. You click with the whole sledgehammer tool, and to just remove one wall section at a time, hold shift. To open and close the gallery is still F4. And to move between floors, it's page down and page up. To move the grid between floors, you can hold shift and page down or page up. Super helpful if you're trying to place something in, you know what, I'll show you. So let's say that I would like to take this column and place it right on this corner here. You can see I kind of get it a couple of times, but not really. But if I hold shift and page down and move my grid to that floor and then grab that column, it will automatically place where it needs to because items will snap to the grid where possible. And if it's not possible, they just sort of do whatever they feel like doing. G also toggles the grid on and off. Also for terrain manipulation, it will toggle that bright green overlay on and off. To change the lighting, you can press L. You can see it cycling through on that top bar up there. To open and close the menu is escape. If you want to move the house, press U. That will select the house move tool, so you can select whatever house is on your property and move it around. If you want to move the whole lot, press Y. While your house or lot are selected, you can use the comma and period keys to rotate them if you want, and if you decide you actually didn't want to move it, just press escape to exit out of that. If you press F5, that will turn on quarter tile placement. If I toggle that back off by pressing F5 again, you can see that the green line snaps to each white line on the grid, but if I press F5, then the green line will snap every quarter tile instead, halfway through those white lines. Next up, let's talk about resizing and raising and lowering objects. In order to do this, you do need to open up your cheat bar with Control-Shift-C and type bb.moveObjects. So to raise is 9, to lower is 0, and to resize these objects, use your bracket keys. If you have a collection of objects like this whole chess table, you can raise and lower it all together, but it will only resize whatever specific object has been selected. You can actually save camera positions by pressing Control and 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So I've just pressed Control 5. Now if I move my camera away, I can resume that saved position by pressing 5. And then if I want another position maybe over here, I can press Control 6. So now I can go back and forth between saved position 5 and saved position 6. However, because you can also set settings to the number 9, I'm going to press Control 9 to set that position. And then I go back to my saved position number 5, saved position number 6, and saved position number 9. Tell me if this looks familiar. If I go back into my game, back to our little chess set here, grab my chair and try to raise it with the 9 key. I go back to that camera position. So my chair is still raising. You can see raising through the counter there, but it's not very nice, is it? So what you want to do then is press Alt 9, and what that will do is reset that camera position. So now if I go grab my other chair and I raise it with 9, you can see my camera doesn't zip around. Now if you want to recolor an object before you place it, you can use the minus and plus keys on your number pad. However, once you place it, you can not select it and recolor it again. It'll just switch over to zooming. You will have to use your design tool to recolor swatches at that point. To record a video, you can press V. Again, you'll get that yellow border. To stop recording the video, press V and it'll let you know where it's being saved at. And I don't think I mentioned it yet in build mode, but to take a screenshot is just C. To undo any action is Control Z, and to redo any action is Control Y. The sledgehammer is K, which will of course let you just smash random stuff. You can open the menu to styled rooms by pressing F3, and at any point go into top-down view by pressing T. I'm bringing us back to the roof to go over the wall and roof tools. First thing to mention is some of the same keys apply. For example, if you have to place a bunch of the same roof shape, you can hold Shift to place multiple at the same time. If you need to rotate it, you can use the comma and period keys. But some roofing specific keys include with the curving tool, you can use this one little ball here, or to get additional curving controls, press Shift C. This will let you curve the peak, the middle, and the eave independently of one another. While this card is on screen, I want to mention that console, for the most part, if you don't have or don't know your specific hot modifier button, whatever, to do any of the things that you're seeing on screen, all you have to do is plug in a keyboard and you will actually be able to do, I think, 99% of them. I'm probably going to get some comments asking about how to use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out when you're on a trackpad. Unfortunately, I don't know. If you're able to spend a few bucks or go to the thrift store and get an old mouse and keyboard, it will make your life a lot easier. Sanitize as always. Also on the roof, you can move one eave at a time by holding Shift. Next up are spandrels, which are these guys right here. And I'm sure we're all already familiar with, you just sort of click to place a full spandrel. But if you want to replace the full room, you can press Shift. Oh, that's right. This is going to act kind of weird because of the fence. Anyway, so to do the whole room, you can press Shift. If you would like to just place it on one wall section at a time, you can hold Alt. So this is helpful for making arches and stuff inside, less helpful for this particular instance, but that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's breezy now. So when you're painting a wall, you can use by wall or by room, and holding Shift pretty much toggles between the two of those. I'm going to go back inside again to show you this one. So if I'm painting my tile and I want to paint the room instead, I'll just hold Shift. Or if I'm painting by room and I just want to paint one tile, I will hold Shift. And to paint one wall section at a time, you will hold Alt, which is true for both paint by room and paint by tile. Same as lift mode, to put the walls down or up is end and home. To bring up the wall tool specifically, you can press B, so no matter what I have selected, if I press B, I will have the wall tool. If at any point you need to remove a specific part of a wall, you can hold Control and then click and drag like you're building a wall, but with Control selected, it will remove the wall instead. You can also draw a wall and then press Shift to transform into the Room tool to build a room. This works with diagonal walls as well, where if I draw a diagonal wall and then hold Shift, I will draw a diagonal room. With the Room tool, it will automatically draw a room, but if you hold Shift to draw a diagonal wall and then release Shift, you can draw a diagonal room with the standard Room tool as well. And if you want to remove any part of a room, you can hold Control while using the Room tool to draw a room, and that will remove it. The control function works with platforms as well, where I can draw a platform, and maybe I didn't want it to be that big, so I'm going to hold Control to draw back over it and remove that part of the platform. I can also press Shift to draw a straight line. You can see it's not going to place anything, but when I release Shift, I can create a diagonal platform. If I use Control and Shift at the same time, I can remove a diagonal part of the platform. And that's not all. This also works for pools. So I can draw a pool, I can hold Control and get rid of that part of the pool. Now I cannot do a diagonal pool the same way I can do diagonal rooms and platforms. If you need a diagonal pool, you are going to have to use the custom pool tool. Come on, it won't even, there we go. It's like, I know I can get a diagonal wall this way. Very nice. It's like a little key or something. I don't know. We did kind of ruin the Goth's house, but let's be real, they needed some renovations anyway. As always, please leave your suggestions, corrections, and questions in the comments down below. Be sure to check out the links in the video description. Thank you so much for playing with me today, and I look forward to building with you again very, very soon.